Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship. The USS Defiance was the biggest warship Earth had ever built. It moved through space like a metal mountain with guns. Jake looked out at the stars and knew that somewhere out there, enemies were coming. The ship had been in space for 3 months. They called it an exploration mission, but Jake knew better. They were hunting aliens. The government told people they were looking for new worlds. That was a lie. They were getting ready for war. Commander Lisa Hayes sat at her station. She watched the computer screens that showed what was happening around them. Her job was to find enemy ships before they found the humans. She was good at her job. Very good. "Captain," Lisa said, "I see something moving near the 4th planet. 6 ships. They look like Zephyrian cruisers." Jake nodded. The Zephyrians were tall aliens with see-through skin. Their ships looked like glass and moved like ghosts. They thought they were the best fighters in the galaxy. They had ruled space for 2,000 years. They thought humans were just animals. 6 months ago, a Zephyrian ship had found Earth. The alien captain had come to meet with Earth's leaders. He was tall and cold, with silver eyes that looked right through people. He gave Earth a simple choice: become slaves or die. The Earth government had given him an answer. Nothing, no words, no response, just silence. What the aliens did not know was that humans had been getting ready for this day for many years. Secret shipyards built ships in the dark space beyond Pluto. While aliens made pretty ships that danced through space, humans built ships that could smash through anything. Lieutenant Danny Rodriguez worked at the communications station. He was young but smart. He could speak 12 different languages and could break alien codes. "Captain," he said, "Admiral Parker wants to talk to all ship commanders. She says Operation Thunderstrike is starting." Jake smiled, but it was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a wolf that smells blood. He pressed a button and spoke to all the human ships in the area. "All ships, this is Captain Morrison. Show yourselves." The empty space around them suddenly filled with ships. 47 human warships turned off their hiding systems and became visible. Each ship was huge and covered with weapons. They were not pretty like alien ships. They were built to fight and win. Admiral Betty Parker's voice came through the speakers. She was the most feared military commander Earth had ever produced. She had fought in 3 wars and never lost a battle. Her ship was called the USS Vengeance, and it was the biggest warship in the human fleet. "All ships," Admiral Parker said. "Today we show the galaxy that Earth does not bow down to anyone. Today we teach them that humans fight back hard." The human ships moved into attack formation. Each captain knew their job. They had trained for this moment for years. The aliens thought humans were weak because they had only one planet. The aliens were wrong. Jake remembered the day the Zephyrian ambassador came to Earth. The tall alien had stood in the United Nations building and looked down at the human leaders like they were insects. He spoke in perfect English, which made his words even more cold. "Your species is young and violent," the alien had said. "You fight each other instead of working together. You damage your own planet. You are not ready to join the galactic community. You will serve the hegemony, or you will be removed." The human leaders had asked for time to think about it. The alien had given them 1 month. Then he left in his beautiful glass ship, sure that humans would surrender like every other species had done. But humans were different. While other species gave up when faced with superior technology, humans got angry. They started building ships, big ships, ships with enough weapons to crack moons. "Captain," Lisa said, "the alien patrol is changing course. They are coming toward us." Jake looked at the display screen. 6 Zephyrian ships were moving in perfect formation. They moved like dancers, smooth and graceful. Their weapons could cut through most metals like butter. Their shields could stop almost any attack. Almost any attack. "Open a channel to the alien ships," Jake ordered. Danny worked at his controls. "Channel open, sir." Jake spoke slowly and clearly. He wanted the aliens to understand every word. "Zephyrian ships, this is Captain Morrison of the United Earth Navy. You have entered human space. Leave now or face the consequences." The reply came quickly. The alien voice was translated by the computer, but Jake could hear the arrogance even through the machine translation. "Primitive humans, you dare to threaten the hegemony? Your crude ships are no match for our technology. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick." Jake looked at Lisa. She was ready. Her finger was over the firing controls. The human weapons were different from anything the aliens had seen. While alien weapons used energy and exotic matter, human weapons used simple physics. Kinetic energy, mass times velocity equals destruction. "Lisa," Jake said quietly, "light them up." The USS Defiance fired its main guns. Tungsten rods as big as telephone poles shot out at incredible speed. They hit the lead Zephyrian ship and went right through it. The beautiful alien vessel exploded in a ball of fire that lit up space. All around them, the other human ships opened fire. The aliens had never seen weapons like these. Their shields were designed to stop energy beams, not solid metal moving at near light speed. One by one, the elegant alien ships were torn apart. In less than 2 minutes, all 6 Zephyrian ships were destroyed. Pieces of metal and alien bodies floated in space where the proud patrol had been. "Danny," Jake said, "what are the aliens saying?" Danny listened to his equipment. His face went pale. "Sir, they are calling for help. They are telling their fleet that humans are not what they expected. They are using words like savage and berserker." Jake smiled again. The aliens were starting to understand. Humans were not weak animals to be herded. They were predators. And now the hunt was beginning. Admiral Parker's voice came through the speakers again. "All ships, prepare for hyperspace jump. Intelligence reports show a large hegemony fleet gathering in the Rigel sector. Time to show them what happens when you threaten Earth." Chief Engineer Sam Collins looked up from his station. He was responsible for keeping the ship running during battle. "Captain, all systems are working perfectly. The Defiance is ready to bring hell to their doorstep." Jake nodded. The real war was just beginning. For 2,000 years, the Zephyrian hegemony had ruled the galaxy through fear and superior technology. They conquered weak species and made them slaves. They destroyed any species that tried to fight back, but they had never met humans before. As the human fleet prepared to jump to the next battle, Jake thought about Earth. His home planet was 40 light years behind them, but he could feel it, calling to him. Every human on every ship felt the same way. They were not just fighting for territory or resources. They were fighting for the right to exist as free beings. The aliens had made a mistake. They thought humans would be easy to defeat because they only had one planet. They did not understand that humans had spent thousands of years fighting each other, learning how to wage war better than any other species. Now it was time to use that knowledge. The USS Defiance and the rest of the human fleet disappeared into hyperspace, leaving behind only the wreckage of the alien patrol. The first battle was over. The war for the galaxy was just beginning. The human fleet came out of hyperspace like a hammer hitting glass. 47 warships appeared around the Zephyrian patrol squadron without warning. The aliens had been cruising through space, thinking they were safe in their own territory. They were wrong. Captain Jake Morrison watched his tactical display. The 6 alien cruisers were caught in the middle of the human formation. They looked like silver fish surrounded by sharks. Commander Lisa Hayes worked at her station, targeting the enemy ships with deadly precision. "All weapons locked on target," Lisa reported. Waiting for orders. Jake opened communications on all frequencies. He wanted every alien in the system to hear what he was about to say. The message went out in the mathematical language that all space-traveling species understood. Zephyrian vessels, this is Captain Morrison of the United Earth Navy. You have exactly 60 seconds to withdraw from this system or face the consequences. The response came quickly from the lead alien cruiser. The ship was beautiful, with smooth curves and a hull that seemed to glow with its own light. Inside, Jake knew, were aliens who had never lost a battle in their long lives. "Primitive humans," the alien commander said. "You dare threaten the hegemony? Your crude ships are no match for our technology. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. We will add Earth to that list." Jake looked at Lisa and nodded. "Light them up." The USS Defiance unleashed hell. Its main guns fired tungsten rounds at tremendous speed. The beautiful alien ship simply came apart. Metal and air exploded outward as the kinetic rounds tore through, the hull like paper. The exotic matter core that powered the ship erupted in a flash of light that briefly outshone the nearby star. All around the battlefield, human ships opened fire. The weapons they used were different from anything the aliens had ever seen. While Zephyrian technology relied on energy shields and exotic matter, humans had perfected the art of kinetic warfare. They threw metal at their enemies, but they threw it so fast and so hard that nothing could stop it. The alien cruisers tried to fight back. Their weapons were sophisticated and powerful. Energy beams lanced out, trying to cut through human armor. But the human ships were built different. Where alien ships were elegant and efficient, human ships were tough and mean. They could take damage that would destroy any other vessel and keep fighting. Lieutenant Danny Rodriguez monitored the alien communications from his station. His face went white as he listened to the enemy transmissions. "Sir," he said, "they are calling for reinforcements. They are sending messages about impossible human savagery and primitive berserkers. They sound scared." Jake was not surprised. The aliens had ruled the galaxy for so long that they had forgotten what real warfare looked like. They fought clean battles with rules and honor. Humans fought to win, and they did not care about looking pretty while they did it. The second alien cruiser exploded as 3 human ships focused their fire on it. The third tried to run, but human ships were faster than they looked. Railgun rounds caught it as it tried to escape, ripping off chunks of hull until the ship went dark and began to drift. The 4th and 5th cruisers tried to work together, combining their shields to create a stronger defense. It did not help. Human weapons were designed to punch through any defense. When energy shields failed, the humans just hit them harder. The last alien ship surrendered, but it was too late. Jake had given them 60 seconds to leave. That time had passed. The USS Defiance put 3 tungsten rounds through the ship's engine section, leaving it dead in space. 6 Zephyrian cruisers had been reduced to glowing wreckage floating in space. The human fleet had not lost a single ship. Not one human had died in the battle. It was a perfect victory, but Jake knew it was just the beginning. Admiral Betty Parker's voice came through the communication system. She sounded calm, but Jake could hear the steel in her voice. "All ships, prepare for hyperspace jump. Intelligence reports a hegemony battle fleet massing in the Rigel sector. Time to show them what happens when you threaten Earth." Chief Engineer Sam Collins looked up from his control panel. He was grinning despite the seriousness of the situation. "Captain, all systems are green. The Defiance is ready to bring hell to their doorstep." Jake nodded and began preparing for the next jump, but first, he wanted to send a message. He opened a channel to any alien ships that might be listening in the system. "This is Captain Morrison of the human fleet," he said. "Your patrol squadron is destroyed. 6 ships gone in 4 minutes. This is what happens when you threaten Earth. Tell your leaders. Tell them that humans are coming." As the human fleet prepared to jump deeper into alien space, Jake thought about what they had just accomplished. For 2,000 years, Zephyrian patrols had moved through this space unopposed. Local species saw their silver ships and ran away. Pirates avoided them. Even other major powers gave them respect. Now 6 of their best ships were nothing but scrap metal. Danny Rodriguez brought him a report from the intelligence section. "Sir, we are picking up long-range communications. The aliens are spreading word about what happened here. They are calling us the new threat from the Rim." Lisa Hayes checked her weapon systems one more time. "Captain, do you think they will try to negotiate now?" Jake shook his head. "Not yet. They still think this was lucky. They think their technology will save them when they bring enough ships. They do not understand what they are really fighting. The truth was that humans had been preparing for this war their entire history, every battle they had fought against. Each other had taught them something new about warfare. Every weapon they had built had been improved and made deadlier. Every strategy had been tested in the blood of human soldiers. The aliens had advanced technology, but they had grown soft. They had ruled the galaxy so long that they had forgotten how to fight a real war. They conquered primitive species and enslaved them. They had never faced an enemy that fought back with everything they had. Sam Collins ran a full diagnostic on the ship's systems. "Captain, the kinetic weapons performed better than expected. The alien shields could not adapt to physical projectiles. Their technology is designed to counter energy weapons. That had been the key insight that led to human victory. While every other species in the galaxy had developed energy-based weapons, humans had stuck with kinetic energy. They threw rocks, essentially, but they threw them so fast that they hit with the force of nuclear weapons. The human fleet finished its preparations and jumped to hyperspace. Behind them, they left wreckage and a message. The Zephyrian hegemony was no longer invincible. Somewhere in the galaxy, there was a species that could fight back and win. As they traveled through hyperspace toward the Rigel sector, Jake received more intelligence reports. The aliens were massing ships from across their territory. Hundreds of vessels were converging on Rigel, the regional capital of their empire. "They are scared," Lisa observed, reading the reports over his shoulder. "They are bringing everything they have." Jake smiled. That was exactly what he wanted. Let them bring their entire fleet to one place. Let them think that numbers would save them. They were about to learn that humans had been planning for this moment for a very long time. The war for the galaxy was escalating, and humanity was ready for whatever came next. They had shown the aliens that Earth was not alone and helpless. Now they would show them what happened when humans decided to take the fight to their enemies. The age of Zephyrian dominance was ending. The age of humanity was about to begin. 3 days later, the human fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Rigel system. What they saw made even the most experienced captains pause. Over 200 alien ships waited for them in perfect formation around a massive space station that looked like a crystal mountain floating in space. Admiral Betty Parker stood in the command center of the USS Vengeance, studying the tactical display. The alien fleet was bigger than anything humans had ever faced. Ships from 3 different species formed defensive lines that stretched across space like a wall of death. "Impressive," said Commander Rick Thompson, standing beside the Admiral. He was her chief of staff and had seen many battles, but nothing like this. That is more firepower than any human has ever seen in one place. The Zephyrian hegemony had responded to humanity's attacks with their full military might. Sleek battle cruisers formed the backbone of their fleet, each one a masterpiece of alien engineering. Their hulls seemed to bend light around them, making them hard to target accurately. But the Zephyrians had brought allies. The Vorthan Collective had sent their living starships, creatures the size of cities that had been bred for war. These beings could manipulate gravity itself, crushing enemy ships with invisible force. They looked like giant jellyfish made of metal and flesh, pulsing with bioluminescent lights. Even more dangerous were the ships from the shadow dimension. The Eclipsans rarely showed themselves to other species, but the threat of human expansion had brought them into the open. Their vessels appeared as dark holes in space, absorbing light and energy. No one knew exactly how their technology worked, but their weapons could phase through normal matter. Admiral Parker activated the fleet communication system. Her voice carried to every human ship in the formation. All ships, this is Admiral Parker. What we are looking at is the combined might of 3 alien civilizations that have ruled this galaxy for centuries. They think their numbers and technology make them invincible. Captain Jake Morrison listened from the bridge of the USS Defiance. His ship was positioned at the front of the human formation, ready to lead the attack. Commander Lisa Hayes worked at her station, coordinating targeting data with the other ships in the fleet. Lieutenant Danny Rodriguez monitored alien communications. Sir, they are broadcasting surrender demands. The hegemony commander is offering to spare Earth if we withdraw immediately and submit to what he calls proper galactic authority. Jake almost laughed. The aliens still thought this was about territory or resources. They did not understand that humans were fighting for something much more important. They were fighting for the right to exist as free beings in their own galaxy. Admiral Parker's response was simple and direct. All ships, execute Plan Omega. Show them what human ingenuity looks like. The human fleet split into 3 attack groups. Each group targeted a different section of the alien formation. But instead of charging straight at the enemy like the aliens expected, the humans used tactics that the sophisticated aliens had never seen before. Captain Morrison watched as the USS Retribution and USS Devastator opened their cargo bays. Thousands of small objects poured out into space. They looked like metal seeds, each one barely larger than a fighter ship. Launching drone swarms, Lisa reported. All autonomous units are active and seeking targets. The aliens had been expecting a traditional space battle between large ships. What they got instead was something completely different. The human drones were too small for the alien targeting systems to track effectively. Each drone carried a fusion warhead powerful enough to damage a cruiser. The elegant Zephyrian battle cruisers tried to engage the drone swarms with their main weapons. It was like trying to kill mosquitoes with a rifle. The drones were fast, smart, and numerous. They swarmed around the alien ships like angry insects, exploding against hulls and shields. The Vortan living ships tried to use their gravity manipulation to crush the attacking drones. Some of them succeeded, creating small black holes that sucked in dozens of the human weapons. But human engineers had designed the drones to operate in extreme gravitational fields. Most of them survived and continued their attacks. The Eclipse and Shadow ships were the most dangerous opponents. Their weapons could phase through normal matter, making human armor useless. But the humans had prepared for this too. Mixed in with the regular drones were specialized units carrying exotic matter warheads stolen from captured alien ships. Commander Rick Thompson coordinated the second wave from aboard the USS Vengeance. All Dreadnoughts, prepare for close-range assault. Target their command vessels. The human capital ships moved forward through the chaos of the drone battle. Their massive hulls absorbed hits from alien weapons that would have destroyed smaller vessels. The humans had built their ships to take damage and keep fighting. Jake watched his tactical display as explosions bloomed across the alien fleet. The sophisticated enemy formations were breaking apart as individual ships tried to deal with the drone attacks. The aliens were used to fighting other civilized species that followed predictable patterns. They had never faced an enemy that used swarm tactics. Captain, Lisa said, the Zephyrian command ship is trying to withdraw behind their battle line. Should we pursue? Jake shook his head. Let them run. We want them to spread word about what happened here. The battle had been raging for 2 hours, but the outcome was already clear. The alien fleet, despite its numerical superiority, was being torn apart by human tactics they could not counter. Ships that had ruled space for centuries were being destroyed by weapons they had never encountered. Danny Rodriguez brought Jake a communication from the alien fleet. Sir, the hegemony commander wants to negotiate. He is requesting a temporary ceasefire to discuss terms. Jake looked at Admiral Parker's image on his communication screen. She was smiling, but it was not a pleasant smile. Tell him we will consider his request after he surrenders his entire fleet." The alien response was immediate and angry. "The hegemony does not surrender to primitive species." Parker's reply was to order the third wave attack. "All ships, show them what happens when primitives get angry." The remaining human dreadnoughts moved into attack range. Their weapons were different from the first two waves. Instead of drones or kinetic rounds, they fired something the aliens had never seen before: modified alien technology. Human engineers had studied captured Zephyrian weapons and improved them. They had taken Vorthon gravity manipulators and made them more powerful. They had even learned to use Eclipson phase technology. Though they did not fully understand how it worked, the results were devastating. Alien ships found themselves under attack by their own weapons, improved and made deadlier by human engineering. The Zephyrians watched in horror as their own technology was used against them. Within another hour, the great alien fleet was in full retreat. Ships fled in all directions, abandoning their defensive positions around the space station. The massive crystal structure that had been the symbol of hegemony power in this sector was left defenseless. Admiral Parker gave the final order. "All ships, target the space station. Let's send a message that the galaxy will remember." The USS Vengeance and 6 other dreadnoughts focused their fire on the alien command center. The beautiful crystal structure that had taken decades to build was reduced to glowing fragments in minutes. As the human fleet regrouped after the battle, Jake reflected on what they had accomplished. They had faced the combined might of 3 alien civilizations and won. More importantly, they had done it using tactics and weapons that the aliens could not understand or counter. The war was far from over, but the balance of power in the galaxy had shifted. The age of alien dominance was ending and the age of humanity was beginning. The battle for the Rigel system had been raging for 18 hours. Captain Jake Morrison had never seen anything like it. Massive alien vessels exploded in cascades of exotic energy, while human dreadnoughts pushed forward through walls of fire. That could have melted planets. The USS Defiance shook as another Vorthon gravity pulse tried to crush its hull. The living alien ship was using its biological gravity organs to create crushing force that could flatten normal metal. But Chief Engineer Sam Collins had built the human ships differently. "Hull integrity at 87%, Sam reported from his station. His voice was calm despite the violence happening around them. "These alien gravity weapons are strong, but they have never dealt with human over-engineering." Commander Lisa Hayes worked at her targeting station, coordinating attacks on the massive hegemony command station. The structure was the size of a small moon and served as the regional capital for this part of alien space. Taking it out would cripple their ability to coordinate their forces. "Sir," Lisa said, "we have identified their central command hub. If we can destroy that, their coordination will collapse completely." The problem was getting through the defensive screen. Over 50 alien capital ships still protected the station. Their exotic weapons created a deadly maze of energy barriers and gravity distortions. Any ship trying to reach the station would have to survive a journey through hell. Traditional tactics would have required a direct assault that would cost hundreds of human lives. But Admiral Betty Parker had a different plan, one that the aliens would never expect. "Danny," Jake called to Lieutenant Rodriguez, "open a channel on all frequencies. I want every alien in this system to hear what I'm about to say." Danny worked at his controls. "Channel open, sir. Broadcasting on all known alien communication frequencies." Jake spoke slowly and clearly. He wanted every word to reach the enemy commanders. "This is the human fleet. We know you can hear us. We know you are afraid." The message continued with information that should have been classified. Jake gave detailed reports about human attacks on 6 other star systems. While the aliens had been gathering their forces here at Rigel, humanity had been striking everywhere at once. "Your base at Altair was destroyed 3 days ago," Jake continued. "Your supply depot at Vega is gone. Your shipyard at Procyon is burning. You are not fighting one human fleet. You are fighting all of humanity, and we are everywhere, Commander. Rick Thompson monitored alien communications from aboard the USS Vengeance. His face showed growing satisfaction as he listened to the enemy responses. Admiral, their formation is starting to break down. Individual captains are asking for permission to withdraw. They are realizing this is not just a single battle. The psychological warfare was working. The aliens had expected to face one human fleet in one decisive battle. Instead, they were learning that humans had planned a coordinated invasion across their entire territory. Every major alien installation was under attack simultaneously. Admiral Parker smiled as she watched the tactical display. The alien fleet that had seemed so confident hours earlier was now wavering. Ships were breaking formation as their captains received reports from across hegemony space. All Dreadnoughts, Parker ordered, advance to close range. Target their flagships. The human fleet, which had started the battle with 47 ships, had been reinforced by hidden reserves. Over 90 human dreadnoughts now moved forward through the chaos of battle, their weapons charged for a synchronized bombardment that would end the fight. Jake watched his sensors as the massive alien command station tried to defend itself. Energy barriers flickered around the structure as its automated defenses fired at approaching human ships. But the aliens had built their defenses to stop energy weapons, not kinetic projectiles moving at tremendous speed. The USS Defiance fired its main guns at the station's central tower. Tungsten rounds punched through, exotic matter shields like they were made of paper. Secondary explosions rippled across the surface as critical systems failed. "Captain," Lisa reported, "the alien command ship is signaling surrender." Jake looked at the display. The Zephyrian flagship, a beautiful vessel that had never lost a battle in 3 centuries, was powering down its weapons. Its commander, Admiral HFY, was the most respected military leader in hegemony space. Danny Rodriguez received the incoming transmission. "Sir, the alien admiral wants to speak with Admiral Parker directly." The communication came through on the main screen. Admiral HFY appeared as a tall, graceful figure with translucent skin and silver eyes. He had commanded fleets before humans had discovered fire. Now he looked old and defeated. "Admiral Parker," the alien said, his voice translated by the computer, "we did not understand. We thought you were primitives who could be easily conquered. We were wrong." Parker's response was broadcast across the entire system. Every alien ship, every space station, every listening post heard her words. "You are right, Admiral. You did not understand. Humanity does not just fight for survival, we fight to win." The Zephyrian admiral closed his eyes. When he opened them again, Jake could see something he had never expected to see in an alien commander. Fear. "What are your terms?" Parker did not hesitate. "Complete withdrawal from all systems within 50 light-years of Earth. Dismantling of all military installations in human space. Recognition of human sovereignty over our territory. And if we refuse," Parker gestured to the wreckage floating around them. Over 100 alien ships had been destroyed in the battle. The massive command station was breaking apart, its pieces drifting through space like the remains of a shattered dream. "Look around you, Admiral. This is what happens when you refuse." One by one, alien ships across the system began powering down their weapons. The great hegemony fleet that had gathered to crush humanity was surrendering. Ships that had terrorized the galaxy for centuries were giving up without firing another shot. But Jake knew this was not really the end. It was just the beginning. News of this battle would spread across the galaxy faster than light. Every species would learn that the humans had defeated the mighty Zephyrian hegemony in open combat. Some species would want to become allies. Others would see humans as a new threat to be eliminated. The galaxy was about to become a much more dangerous place. Sam Collins brought Jake a damage report. "Captain, all systems are operational. We lost some armor plating, but the ship is ready for whatever comes next. Lisa Hayes was already plotting courses to other systems. Sir, we are receiving reports from the other human fleets. Victory at Altair, Vega, and Procyon. The aliens are surrendering across the board. Jake nodded. The plan had worked perfectly. While the aliens had concentrated their forces at Rigel, thinking they could crush humanity in one decisive battle, the humans had been attacking everywhere else. It was a strategy no civilized species would have used, but humans were not civilized by galactic standards. Admiral Parker's voice came through the communication system one final time. All ships, prepare for occupation duties. We have a galaxy to pacify. As Jake looked out at the surrendering alien fleet, he thought about how much had changed in just a few months. Earth had gone from an isolated world to the dominant military power in this sector of space. The aliens who had threatened to enslave humanity were now begging for mercy. The war was not over, but the outcome was no longer in doubt. Humanity had proven that they belonged among the stars, and they had done it in the only way the galaxy would understand, through superior firepower and the will to use it. The age of human expansion had begun, and nothing would ever be the same. 6 months after the Battle of Rigel, Captain Jake Morrison stood in the observation deck of the USS Sovereign, humanity's newest and most powerful warship. Through the thick windows, he could see the construction of New Geneva Station, the first human deep space base built in former alien territory. The war had ended not with humanity's surrender, but with the complete collapse of the Zephyrian hegemony. Admiral Betty Parker, now promoted to Fleet Admiral and Supreme Commander of Human Space Forces, had negotiated treaties with 47 different alien species. All of them had suddenly discovered a deep respect for human diplomatic capabilities. Captain Lisa Hayes, now commanding her own Dreadnought, had compiled the final battle reports. The numbers were staggering. In 8 months of warfare, humanity had destroyed over 800 alien vessels while losing only 23 of their own. More importantly, they had proven something that no alien civilization had expected. Humans did not just fight to survive. They fought to reshape the galaxy itself. "It is remarkable," said Admiral Sam Collins, now head of engineering for the expanding human fleet. They had better technology, more ships, and centuries of military experience. But they had never fought an enemy that treated warfare as a science to be perfected. The transformation had been swift and complete. Former hegemony worlds were requesting human protection. The Vorthon Collective had offered to share their gravity manipulation technology in exchange for human military advisors. Even the mysterious Eclipsans had emerged from their shadow dimension to establish formal diplomatic relations with Earth. Colonel Danny Rodriguez, now heading the new Galactic Communications Division, brought Jake the latest reports from across human space. "Sir, we are receiving formal surrender documents from the last hegemony holdouts in the Vega sector. Admiral Chen's Third Fleet reports complete pacification of the region." Jake nodded, still amazed by how quickly everything had changed. The aliens had expected to find a primitive species hiding on a single world. Instead, they had discovered that humanity had been quietly preparing for this moment for generations. The human military had not just built ships and weapons. They had developed an entire philosophy of warfare based on adaptability, overwhelming force, and the willingness to do whatever was necessary to protect their own people. Fleet Admiral Parker's final report to the United Earth government had been remarkably simple. Mission accomplished. The galaxy now understands that Earth is not alone. It is home to the most dangerous species in known space. Recommend immediate expansion of shipyard facilities. We have a galaxy to protect. Jake watched construction crews working on the new station. Humans and aliens labored side by side, assembling the massive defense platforms that would guard this sector of space. It was a sight that would have been impossible just a year ago. The former hegemony species had adapted to their new reality with surprising speed. The Zephyrians, once proud rulers of the galaxy, now served as junior partners in the human alliance. Their advanced technology was useful, but they had learned that technology alone was not enough to win wars. The Vorthons had been more pragmatic. Their living ships were powerful, but they recognized that human tactics and determination made them formidable allies. They had offered a mutual defense pact that gave humanity access to their biological technology in exchange for protection from other threats. Even the Eclipsans, who had rarely interacted with physical beings, had been impressed by human innovation. They had shared some of their phase technology, though humans still did not fully understand how it worked. Lieutenant Commander Kelly Brooks, Jake's new tactical officer, brought him a report from Earth. "Sir, the shipyards have completed construction of 12 new Galaxy-class Dreadnoughts. Production is ahead of schedule." Jake smiled. The Galaxy-class ships were even more powerful than the Dreadnoughts that had won the war. They incorporated alien technology that humans had captured and improved. Each ship was a fusion of human engineering and alien science, more powerful than anything that had existed before. But the real change was not in technology. It was in the balance of power across the galaxy. For the first time in recorded history, a species from the rim worlds had become a major galactic power. Every civilization now had to consider how their actions might affect the humans. Admiral Parker had established a new doctrine for human expansion. Earth would not conquer alien worlds or enslave other species. Instead, they would offer protection and alliance to any civilization that accepted human leadership. Those who refused would be left alone, as long as they did not threaten human interests. It was a policy that had worked surprisingly well. Most alien species preferred human protection to the chaos that had followed the hegemony's collapse. Pirates and raiders found themselves facing human warships that showed no mercy to those who preyed on the weak. Jake received a message from Admiral Parker herself. "Captain Morrison, report to Earth for reassignment. You are being promoted to Admiral and given command of the 4th Fleet. Your new area of operations is the Orion Sector." Jake felt a surge of pride. The Orion Sector was on the far side of former hegemony space, where new threats were emerging. Reports spoke of aggressive species that had not yet encountered human forces. It would be his job to extend human influence into that region. As he prepared to leave the Rigel system, Jake thought about how much had changed since that first encounter with the Zephyrian patrol. Then, humanity had been an unknown species, fighting for survival. Now, they were the dominant military power in this part of the galaxy. The transformation had not been without cost. 23 human ships had been lost, and over 1,000 human lives had been sacrificed. But their sacrifice had secured humanity's place among the stars. Never again would Earth stand alone against the darkness. Admiral Sam Collins joined Jake in the observation deck as the USS Sovereign prepared to depart for Earth. "Admiral," he said, using Jake's new rank, "do you think the aliens will try to challenge us again?" Jake considered the question carefully. "Some will. There are species out there that we have not met yet. Some of them will see us as a threat. Others will want to test our strength, and we will be ready for them?" Jake smiled as he watched the human fleet moving through space. Hundreds of ships now carried the flag of Earth across the galaxy. They were not the most advanced ships in space, and they were not the prettiest. But they were crewed by humans, and that made them the most dangerous vessels in the galaxy. "We will be ready," Jake said. "Humanity has learned the most important lesson in galactic politics. The strong survive, and the weak serve. We have chosen to be strong." The USS Sovereign engaged its hyperdrive and disappeared into the space between stars, carrying Admiral Jake Morrison toward his new command. Behind them, New Geneva Station continued to grow, a symbol of human power in a galaxy that had learned to respect Earth's children. The war for galactic dominance was over. Humanity had won not through superior technology or ancient wisdom, but through the simple willingness to fight harder and longer than anyone else. They had proven that sometimes the most dangerous enemy was the one that refused to give up. As the human fleet spread across the galaxy, establishing bases and forging alliances, one thing became clear to every alien species. Earth was no longer alone. It was home to the most successful predators the galaxy had ever produced, and they were here to stay. The age of humanity had begun, and the universe would never be the same.